Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of the Best Picture nominations of this year, right? Yeah, they're it's a lot better than last year with freaking Dune getting nominated. Seriously, who actually likes Dune? Oh, yeah, I forgot a lot of people, but I don't. I hate Dune. Upcoming video. But if we go back to 1989 for the 61st Academy Awards, the Best Picture winner that year was, in my opinion, one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. And that is, of course, 1988's Rain Man. One of the best films I've ever seen in my entire life. The movie features was, in my opinion, one of the most accurate depictions of autism I've seen in any movie, or from what I've seen so far, as I haven't seen other movies with autistic characters. And yeah, I love the story, the characters, I love everything about this movie. But of course, before we talk about the movie, we have to talk about. I don't know where I was going with that, so I'm just gonna say we're gonna start talking about the movie. So the movie is about Charlie Babbitt, a collectibles dealer who is also very arrogant, self-centered, and just not very nice to everyone. He finds out that his father has recently died and discovers that he left a $3 million fortune to his brother that he never knew about, his older brother Raymond. You see, Raymond here, he has something called autism and is also a savant. Uh, who is that means he's basically uh no what this is. He has superb recall, but he shows little emotional expression except when in distress. Yeah, so of course, Charlie thinks that he can kidnap Raymond so he can get his share of the money, but of course, he goes on he on his way to California. He starts to bond with Raymond and soon discovers that maybe he should care for other people around him. You've seen the type of story before, except it's done more uniquely when the person that he's going on a road trip with is has a disability. Now, of course, uh, excuse me one moment. Yeah, excuse me. I was just struggling to comprehend the universe. Yeah, so if we're looking in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if autism, but I know some. But the person who runs the channel that I put these that I put these episodes on does. Of course. This this movie is very accurate when it comes to its depiction of autism, but it's not the most accurate. In fact, no one can get it the most accurate. The most accurate is the Loop short film, but that's only you see. Nowadays, I view it. You see, it's Raymond's autism is considered high functioning, but in reality, there's two types of high functioning. There's higher high functioning, and then there's lower high functioning. And then there's severe, which is like very low. But yeah, so he has lower high functioning autism due to his uh due to him sticking to routines and also not showing that much emotional expression except when in distress. Signs of autism include sensitivity to sound, need to put things in order, which is kind of similar to OCD except it's not. Uh, Not making great eye contact, from what I've seen, and also yeah, so those are basically main traits of autism. Also, touch sensitivity, but that's only very what's the word? That's very subjective for some autists, but for the most part, people are touch sensitive. Yeah, so of course, people complain that it's not accurate because he has superhuman abilities. Well, that's because he's also an autistic savant. A savant is basically where you can remember a lot of things. I know this because the movie is based on one of the most famous savants, or the most famous savant, Kim Peek, who is a real guy had, who was a savant. He didn't have autism, but he was a savant. Raymond is autistic and a savant, so it's a combination of both, which is why you can remember loss now. Of course, as knowing someone on the spectrum, it does. You remember a lot of things, but at the same time, you only remember certain things that are your interests. Uh, yeah, that's basically what it's like. But of course, uh, I can't. I've talked about the story and the depiction long enough. Time to talk about the characters. Oh boy, are there little characters in this movie. Yeah, there's only two. Yeah, the bros we only focus on. There are a few extra characters here and there, but for the most part, it's only Raymond and Charlie. I'm sure he knows by now that Charlie is played by Tom Cruise in one of his earliest performances back when, he didn't really have a mullet in some of his earlier films, but Tom Cruise uh, did have a mullet in this, and it looks very weird. And it's also weird hearing him have a high pitched voice, whereas in most of his films, he has a very low pitched voice, especially in the Mission Impossible movies and Top Gun Maverick, and later movies he's in. Yeah, but Tom Cruise gives a great performance as Charlie. He's really convincing as a selfish young in his 20s brat who only cares about money but learns to grow a heart. It's really convincing. But the real standout here is Dustin Hoffman, who gives a mesmerizing performance as Raymond Babbitt. He's almost perfectly convincing that he is a person with autism, and it's almost like he's not even the same person. It's like a completely different character. It's like his. You see, in a lot of Dustin Hoffman movies, in a lot of movies that Dustin Hoffman is in, it's not really that. You can still tell it's Dustin Hoffman, but here he's playing an entirely. It's like it's like you're actually watching real people, and that's when you forget that people are acting, that's definitely a sign that you've done a great job. He definitely deserved his Best Actor win for this film. But what other positives can I say about this film aside from the brilliant cast, the amazing characters, and the very regular story that has a unique spin on it? Well, the music bops is all hell. I can't really play it any of here because copyright. But Hans Zimmer composed the score. This is his first big Hollywood score. He's German, so he composed a lot of independent German films and a very few and independent American films. But of course, this is his first big film, and he was nominated for Best Original Score, and he won his first Best Original Score win for Lion King. Big shock there. But I feel like if I had to choose between this or The Lion King, this score is better. I mean, there's no contest. I mean, you know how much I don't like The Lion King. I give it a 4. But yeah, this movie really is just like the score is a combination of everything. It's of course there's a solemn music, where it has to be tender and uh heartfelt. But then there's a scene where they're in Las Vegas, and it's just really like it turns into really like 80s techno music, and it's really cool to listen to. It's a really cool bop. But like another positive about the film is the comedy. Yeah, this isn't just a drama. It's actually a comedy drama. And there are a lot of small funny moments that definitely give the film a lighter tone instead of just making it a hard drama film. That definitely give the film a personality instead of being all melodramatic. And I really like that. Also, fun fact: the guy who directed this movie, Barry Levinson, also, I think, directed, yep, Good Morning Vietnam, which is one of the best war films I've ever seen. Until I saw Darkest Hour, which I also give an 8.5. But this, I'm not giving this an 8.5. I'm giving this a big, fat 10 out of 10. Yep, that's right. We got another 10 out of 10 on our hands. All right, come on. Give me the money. You all belling that I wasn't giving another film a 10. Well, I did. So, yes, there's no contest. This is one of the best films I've ever seen. Yeah, sure. Uh, it's not the most accurate depiction of autism. Some things could be a little bit different to how autistic people actually act, and maybe the concept of the Truder's core about a selfish person learning to be a nicer person on the road with someone else could be a little bit more is still a very overdone plot point, but it's done. But the actual plot point, it's done really uniquely. The characters are all enjoyable, and especially Dustin Hoffman gives his best performance in any movie, as well as Tom Cruise. The characters are endearing. The score slaps hard, and of course, it's really funny as well. But of course, to really give this film a 10, the main reason is the end credits. This would have been your usual end credits, but it's a flip through all the photos that Raymond took throughout the film. You see, not a lot of people notice this, but he had a camera with him throughout most of the film, and of course, it's they do a remix of one of the pieces of music from the film, and it's absolutely a beautiful, really good end to the film. Instead of being your typical black end credits, of course, it does turn into that later on, but. I just love this. It's a really good tribute to the film. Throughout the adventures that we're experiencing in this seemingly very long movie. Seriously, it's 2 hours long. What the hell? But I feel like it's a good runtime because it gives enough time for the story makers to tell the story of this beautiful, endearing, rich, compelling, and above all else, one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. I highly recommend this unless you want a really accurate depiction of autism, then stay away from this film. It's 35 years old. Yeah, it may not be the most accurate depiction, but back at the time it was the best, and nowadays it may not be the best accurate depiction of a disability, but it is in my heart one of the best films of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed my Pacha meme reference. I spent a lot of time posing for that. It took a lot of time. Yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.